Alrighty, y'all, welcome back to the second ever episode of the Generation Revival podcast. Super glad that you guys are back. As you guys know, last week we went over my testimony, so you guys know what that means.
Yep. It means time for me to share my testimony.
Let's go.
Dive in a little bit about childhood and just my life and what I've been through and how it has led me to where I am today. And so with this episode, I just hope that I can inspire and help at least one person out there who is going through something or can inspire them to make positive change. So that's what this is all about. So
yeah, I mean that's genuinely the whole goal, and really that's why we wanted to start off the podcast with two of our testimonies. So my testimony, then Bryce's testimony, because really you can see God's hand in it in a lot of ways. And I think obviously like something we've talked about is your testimony is your most powerful thing to spread the gospel.
Absolutely.
And I think it's important, especially being online, that we kind of share everything in that way. So really get vulnerable. And I think it's something that's also will allow you guys to kind of understand how we've gotten to where we are today and how, what's the kind of reason behind the movement. And obviously my reason may be different than Bryce's, and God has led us to build this movement at different phases and had us go through different things. So yeah, without further ado, I say we dive straight into it. And I'm excited for this one. I'm excited. Yeah. Obviously Bryce and I have discussed each other's testimonies, but there's still details that like I genuinely haven't heard from Bryce. So I'm looking forward to kind of diving in and learning with you guys here. But yeah, I guess starting off, let's just get straight into it. But yeah, dude, I would say like, what was your upbringing like? Kind of, because I have not heard this. So what was your kind of childhood?
So
and else?
My childhood, I would say, is relatively normal in the sense of doing what most other kids were doing and living how most of the people were living. And so for me, that looked like a lot of ultra processed foods, a lot of like I love fast food, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Cookout.
Classic.
Like if you're in the South, you know about Cookout so far. But yeah, so my family, we loved eating out. We were very active, so we were always playing sports growing up, like football, baseball, basketball, like all the classic sports, like very active. But in terms of health, like it was a lot of, we would do a lot of things, like play a lot of video games. I would stay up very late at night. I would be eating a lot of junk food and stuff that was not good for my body at all. And I rarely ate whole foods. Like I very rarely was eating nutrient-dense foods. I was eating very little fruits, vegetables, or even like beef or any kind of protein like that. So
just ultra processed foods mainly.
A lot of ultra processed foods. And yeah, but aside from that, I'd say it was a like relatively normal upbringing. Grew up in public school. And I would consider myself like a Christian or someone who believed in God, but I wasn't living like that each and every day. And I didn't really have that purpose or that spark. And that was something that I struggled with throughout like middle school in my life, was like finding purpose, and I lacked confidence in myself. Like I was like kind of the skinny kid. Like I was skinny, but I didn't have much muscle or anything like that. And so yeah, that was kind of my upbringing from like elementary, middle school.
Yeah. And so did your like family, did you guys go to church together? Was faith like at all like a part of your family in that way, or kind of?
So it definitely was. We'd pray before meals and stuff, and that was something that I loved. Like, and my family, we were pretty strict about doing things like no phones at the dinner table, which I think is an amazing rule. And I had so much love and support from my family. And so growing up, it was my mom, my dad, and I had two younger brothers, Drew and Carson. Shout out y'all if y'all are watching this vid.
Let's go.
Yeah, love my family. They've always been great, very supportive. And yeah, just I guess jump right in like pretty deep. Like when I was 8, my mother, she passed away. And so yeah, that was definitely tough, and that was something that I had to face and encounter very early on in my life and deal with, and yeah, so that took a while to kind of like fully process and heal from. And I know during that time, like elementary school, early middle school, I really like, the way I reacted to that was by suppression, and I didn't want people to feel bad for me, so I wouldn't really tell too many people, and like I didn't want to talk about it much or feel like feeling empathy from other people felt kind of weird to me, because it was like, I don't know, I just felt like, I don't know, like it was tough, but I didn't really share it to too many people. And so I kind of kept it hidden, kept it a secret. But I think that is something powerful to share about myself. And I think that can help other people who have experienced the loss of a loved one, because I know firsthand how difficult that can be and is. So
no, absolutely. And if you don't mind me asking, like, how did she pass?
From cancer.
Okay.
She was diagnosed with cancer. She went through the classic like treatments. She was in the hospital for a while, and yeah, so and kind of after that, it put a lot of pressure and a lot of stress on my dad because he was raising three young growing boys by himself, and so that was a reason for a lot of the like a lot of times it was way more convenient for him to on the way home from work pick up fast food for us or something because we also enjoyed it. That's what we wanted to eat.
Yeah.
So all love and all respect for my family. Like my dad is an amazing man. I aspire to be like him in so many ways, and like he has provided for us and always put clothes on my back and food on the table every single night. And we definitely like struggled a bit, like more than I know, but he would never really show that. And he always taught me to be positive and have the best outlook possible in each situation. Like he was always a big advocate of the saying, like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it. So that's something I've always tried to like practice and preach. And even through the loss of my mom, like deep down, I always knew that like God has, like everything happens for a reason. And so despite the tragedy and how much I suffered and the pain and grief that it like caused me, like I knew that like that was for a reason. I knew it was made to, like, that happened to me for a reason. I knew that God had a plan for me. And even though I didn't know what that was or why that happened, like I knew that that would be just a part of God's plan.
No, that's beautiful, and like thank you for sharing that, like for real. And I would say like that, first of all, it's so impressive that at 8 years old, you know what I mean, that you had that mindset of like knowing it's gonna be okay, like something good is gonna come from all this, and I just have to keep going. And like knowing that God was still there in that time, and especially now, I'm sure you can look back and be like, wow, like God was there every step of that way. So that's so beautiful to see and just like respect. Like, and that's something that when you go through tribulations, like at any age, it's difficult, and you have a choice to either allow it to make you better or allow it to make you crumble. And the fact that at 8 years old, you were able to make the decision to grow. And I guess what I would ask you is like, yes, I know you said you suppressed a lot of different things and that caused a lot of things in that area, but where did it kind of elevate you in your life?
Yeah, absolutely. And for the mindset that I had at that age, where it was like trying to see the good in it, like a lot of that I have to give credit to all my family. Like my mom she was a fighter, and she was very strong and always wanted me to like say positive no matter what. And like, so that was a large reason for that. And yeah, so in terms of what I like learned and grew from that, and also one piece that I did want to share was I saw this post, and it was like, and this is something I was probably like 11 or 12 or something like that, and it really resonated and stuck with me. It was like, you either consume the fire or you let the fire consume you. And so that fire being the tragedies and the things that we experience in life, like there's always that like the fire and those flames, and you either consume it and you like use that to fuel you and like do good in the world and like find your purpose and everything, or you let the fire consume you and you go down this negative spiral and the negative path, which I still have fallen, as you guys will hear like later in the story. But that was something that I always had, and it always fueled me, and I always felt fired up every time I would hear that. But yeah, it definitely, it served a lot of benefit. And looking back on it now, like just seeing how it shaped me, I think it forced me to be, it made me very independent, which had its perks. Like throughout middle school and even early high school, like I was a very independent person. Like I would do things on my own a lot, like whether that be just hanging out with friends, doing stuff after school. Like I was always like hanging out with people and always wanted to be like active and social and stuff like that. And it just taught me to be like independent. And I was like saving up money, like working jobs. Like I worked at like Chick-fil-A, actually. Like I was working in the back, like making like chicken nuggets and stuff, like making like $9 an hour or something like that. But I would always like save my money, and like I always wanted to be like smart about everything that I was doing. And so it taught me to be independent and to not take things for granted too. Like that was like to be appreciative of everything in life, because I know that like you never know what can happen in life genuinely. And like you never know how quick your life can change in a good way or a bad way or anything. So it's just like to really be thankful for each moment of each day and like truly not take anything for granted. That's something I try to do, like even now. So
no, and that's beautiful, and it's crazy to see how God can turn something that honestly is horrible in so many ways and create fruit from that. And you see that time and time again with a lot of struggles. But the fact that 11 years old, like you said, it forced you to be independent, it forced you to grow up like faster than most kids. Like at 11 years old, not a lot of people are thinking, oh, I have to keep going. I can either die in the fire, or I can keep pushing through, and I can use that fire to like go forward.
Yeah.
Like not a lot of kids at 11 years old are thinking of that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, and that comes from forcing yourself to have to grow and develop in that way. So I think that's super inspiring. And I
Yeah.
guess another question that I would ask is, like, yes, you were talking about suppressing it, but do you think that even in your later years, and do you think that caused other kind of issues, like being forcing
Mm,
yourself to suppress it? Like, oftentimes when you suppress anything, it comes back later in life. You know what I mean? So did you
absolutely.
find that it came out in any other ways that you
Yeah.
may not even acknowledged at the time, but may have now?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And absolutely. So when it came to probably my senior year of high school, like I think that suppression did come out in different ways, and the way that it came out for me was trying to find validation from other people. And that was something that I struggle with. Confidence was something that I struggled with. Like I didn't really have much self-confidence. Mainly because I don't know, exercise is something that like changed my life and helped me to build that confidence, but the suppression of like the death of my mom and not being able to fully come to terms with that, like that ended up projecting itself outward in trying to seek validation from other people in
Mm.
high school and even through the first few years of college. Like I was very bad about that, and I did that through things of this world, like going out and partying, trying to be a part of all the like the popular friend groups. I wanted to fit in with everyone. Like and I so before that I was sacrificing my own self and trying to like wearing masks constantly. Like if I was hanging with that like the athletes and stuff, like I'd
Mm.
put on a mask, and I'm with the smart kids and like the whatever advanced classes, like put on a different mask and like try to fit in with everyone. I wanted to be liked by everyone. I didn't want anyone to like dislike me, or like so it was like I'm constantly living like trying to be someone that I'm not almost, and like and trying to seek the validation and approval from other people. And then when I went to college, like I remember like wanting to be that guy that like went to all the parties and like could whatever, like just had all the validation, like could seek approval from girls and stuff
Yep.
like that, like falling into traps like that are very dangerous and just not good for myself, not good for anyone else around me. And it's just like,
Mm.
yeah, so it showed itself up there, and looking back on it now I can recognize that, but in the moment I didn't think of it like that. Like in the moment I thought that was just like what was cool, and I thought that was like that would make me like, popular and liked by everyone. I think that is what really the suppression like was like, me just wanting that validation and
No,
approval.
100%. And the fact that you can look back on that and be able to acknowledge that, because I feel like most people go their whole lives and they suppress it their whole lives. They actually never ultimately deal with the different things in their life, and they're definitely not able to admit the things that that suppression caused in their life, like what the root causes of those things were. And the fact that you can look back on that like shows maturity and shows growth in that way. And yeah, well, I guess what I would ask you is like, how deep did it go? You know what I mean? Like when
Mm.
you were in the world and when you started to dive into that, like how deep in the world did you get? Did you feel like a spiritual disconnect there from diving into those things?
Mm.
Or like where was
Yeah.
your faith like through that season that you were in?
Yeah, absolutely. And so to answer that, like my faith when it came to let's see. So when I was a junior in high school, and that's when like vapes were like becoming very popular, and like everyone had them, and like it was so. And I always would tell myself like I would never buy one or whatever, and like I'm just gonna like like hit it when other people are hitting it. And like so I don't know, it got really bad to answer shortly, but that would like because everyone around me was doing it, and when you're in an environment where that's normal, then you like, for me, someone who
Mm.
was seeking validation and wanted to fit in with everyone, I wanted to be a part of that too. And so I felt almost like obligated and like at a fault, like just trying to impress other people. And so I would find myself doing that too. And for a while, like it was on occasion, but then as soon as I bought my first vape, and
Yep.
that was definitely like awful, because that set the stage for me ultimately like being addicted to nicotine for like
Mm.
multiple years, and like vaping throughout some of high school and also multiple years in college. And like when I say bad, like I mean like multiple times, like consistently all day every day basically for multiple years, and like very rarely taking like breaks from it. And along with that, like smoking weed
Mm.
pretty frequently, like almost every night.
Mm.
And I would justify it by not doing it during the day. And so I would say like, oh, I was productive throughout the day, went to classes, went to the gym, did all this. But then at night, every single night, I would use it to like fall asleep. And but it was really just a way to take my mind off things. And so if I wasn't keeping busy or doing things, like if I wasn't constantly productive, I would almost use that to escape the silence with myself. And I think that was myself not confronting reality and facing the problems that I had. And so in order to distract myself, I would get high, or I would numb myself through alcohol, through nicotine, like, and try to like numb myself so that I wouldn't have to confront the reality of my life, my situation, what I had dealt with and been through.
Yeah, and do you think during that time you could acknowledge that that's what you were doing, or did you not realize the harms of what you were doing? Could you like have that conviction or part of you that was like, all right, this is probably not good for me. Like, I know I shouldn't be waking up,
Yeah.
hitting nicotine, like doing all that stuff. Like, was there a part of you that was like, I need to stop? Or were you kind of content living the way that you were living and didn't really have much conviction on that?
Yeah. I got into a very bad spot where I was like, at first I did feel conviction for it, but then eventually, like, over a long enough period of time, when you repeat something over and over, like, and this is so true in every aspect, and I see it so clearly now, like, the closer you are to God is in when we live for him each and every day, through the way that we take care of ourselves, through the food that we eat, through how we treat other people. The more you do things that honor God, the easier it is to hear his voice, and the easier it is to feel conviction and hear and like and get that like guide, that inner guide that leads you toward doing what is right.
Yeah.
But conversely, the further you are, like the more we indulge in getting drunk or getting high or like lustful activities or doing anything of that nature, the further we get, and then the harder it gets to hear God's voice. And so I was in a spot where I was not feeling conviction at all. And
Like you became numb.
I was numb. And I was content because of the fact that, like, and at this point I had been like lifting weights and like whatever. I had a good physique. And so I was like, okay, I look healthy. I was in a fraternity, and like I had the social status, like in the eyes of college kids. And like, so I was like very content with where I was. And I would just like, yeah, I justified it, and I was numb, but it was a very bad addiction. And like, and for a long time, it was hard for me to confront myself. And I would always have glimpses where I knew deep down, where I knew this wasn't what I should be doing. And I would feel that conviction. But every time I would feel that, that would make me want to indulge in something like that even more, go to another party, have another beer, like do this to escape that feeling. Because every time I would feel that, I'd be like, nah, like that's crazy. Like, whatever. I'm in college once. Like, these are the best years of my life. Like, live it. Like, that's what everyone says. And so, like, part of me just wanted to, like, go with that narrative and, like, and just live it up. But that left me numb. And, yeah, I was not feeling conviction.
100%.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what, like, you perfectly described it, in the sense of when we're constantly listening to the devil's voice in our life, it's going to get louder and louder when we're constantly giving into these temptations, to the point where God's voice in our life is very quiet. And like, I've experienced that. Anyone who's living in the world, like lukewarm Christianity, that's why it's so dangerous in that way, is you really just lack the conviction because you've constantly been listening to the devil's voice in your life. So you're not hearing God's voice as clearly in your life and gaining that conviction for the thing. And you become numb, like you described.
Absolutely.
But yeah, and I guess what I would ask next is, like, you were in this dark place. You were numb, right? You're at the point where you're not receiving any conviction. Like, so what kind of led you to create that change? I know you mentioned like working out, like that was something that was a good escape or whatever else. But what kind of led to this change of heart, this change of where you started to actually gain conviction and you started to actually change your ways, especially when it comes to addictions? I mean, those are not easy to overcome. Those are things that some people never overcome in their entire lifetime, especially when it comes to nicotine, which people don't talk about enough. Like, people are literally slaves to this, and it seems like you were during that time. So that must have been incredibly difficult. But what kind of led to that?
No, it was, and also, like, just to touch on one more point of that, like that was something that I also would hide from people. Like, I didn't want anyone to know. Like, no family, no friend, like, or like some friends, but not all. Like, I would try to hide it as best I could, and keep the image of me being like whatever clean in that regard, and like and which is just dangerous because you're constantly living a false life. Like, you're constantly not being your true self by hiding it from people, and constantly being in a like nervous and like worried state where you don't want to get caught with this, and like living in that fear day after day is just so unhealthy.
And shame, like
having
a little shame.
And it's like you feel that inside of you, and it's just like, and it builds up over time, and it's just like finally, like, you can't, like, you almost just want to like just stop it, like. But to answer your question on that, like, one of the major turning points in my life, and this was God. Like, it was so my girlfriend now, Elise, actually
Let's go.
deserves a ton of credit for for this, and it may not be in the way that she would even expect or that most people would expect. Like, it was more of just when her and I started hanging out, and when we met and when we started hanging out together, like, it was, I almost felt at first it started off like, okay, if I'm gonna hang out with her, like, I want to like make sure I'm my best self. So all right, I'm not gonna smoke here. I'm not gonna smoke tonight. And then naturally, before I knew it, we started hanging out more, like whether it be going to dinner, going on dates, like whatever it was. We were also going to fraternity parties, like early on, like, but whatever it was, I would want to be better, like, for her in that sense. And like, so naturally I stopped smoking every night, and then like that was a bad habit that was quit. And then over the summer was really where a big change in my life happened, and that's where her and I were dating, and we had been dating for 3 to 4 months at this point now, and she was studying abroad for multiple months, so she was going away, and I was in North Carolina, and I was there for the summer, and I was by myself there. And so her and I were doing long distance, like just a few months into dating, like everything's kind of up in the air, like it's very, like, it's a tough spot to be in. But I would just get like visions of myself in the future, like being married and with kids. And I think her presence, not even any words or anything like that, but her presence alone inspired me to think about my future and what path was I headed down. So if I'm vaping every day now, it's easy for me to look in the future and say, oh yeah, when I have kids or when I'm married, I'm not going to be hitting a cherry vape. But like, that's the path. That's what I was living. That's what I was doing each and every day. And that's what I was on track to do. I was on track to be someone who is not confronting reality, who is hiding from people that I loved and were close to me, who is like doing things that I knew were bad for my health. And I was in a point now at this point in my life where I was starting to eat healthier, and I was starting to change my diet because I cared about my health. And I've always had some sort of degree and care over my health, but in that one area, it just like could never go away. Like, it was always sticking around there. But anyway, her presence really inspired me to look into the future and say, Bryce, you are headed down this path. Like, you are doing this every single day. This is what your life is turning out to be if you don't stop. And like, the best time to change is now. Like, it's not going to be, it's going to be easier for me to quit now than 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, because I'm going to be even more addicted then. So it's like, so yeah, that was kind of the start of it, I would say.
And I know something you brought up to me is like thinking about you're going to be a dad that's like vaping around your kids. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was a powerful perspective that I remember you bringing up, and it's so beautiful. But even I can like secondhand, like, that just goes to show like how powerful like a woman is in your life, like how much power that has.
Absolutely.
And honestly, like, shout out you guys, because from the moment I met you guys, like, truly, like, there was something unique about your relationship with and you guys together. Like, you could tell that you guys had a very like strong relationship, and it was beautiful from the start, honestly. And it's been even cooler to witness like you be able to lead in that way too, and you guys grow like together. And it's been cool. Like, I've known you guys for like a year, and you guys have truly grown together so beautifully, like closer to God, closer to just like the people that he created you guys to be in. And it's been beautiful to like witness that as well. So that's awesome.
Dude, I appreciate that. Thank you. And yeah, so that was a tough spot, and that is largely just due to everything, like long distance and any kind of I guess challenges or difficulties, like that ultimately gives you the opportunity to grow together. It's either you break or you grow together in that sense. And so we've had like so many different instances where like we've had things that are inconveniences and things that could put wrinkles or dents in relationships, or I guess like adversity. And so, but like choosing to do it together and choosing to overcome and like build and become stronger together through that has been huge. And so yeah, but during that month where she was studying abroad and I was by myself, I finally decided, I was like, all right. And I recorded a video of myself. I was like, all right, for the next 90 days, I swear I'm not going to take a hit of nicotine ever again. Or for the next 90 days, I'm not going to hit nicotine once ever again. Like, I'm done with this. I know this is bad for my health, and I want to quit. I'm doing this for my future self. I'm doing this for God. I'm doing this for Elise. I'm doing this for my family. And like, I recorded myself, and I have this video in my camera roll, and I show like 50 vapes on my bed. And it's just like, it's disgusting. Looking back, I'm like, all right, this is my last hit. And I like hit it. And I just like cough. I'm like, oh, like this is so disgusting. And like, I was done. I knew I needed to quit, and I was done. And at this point, I went through, and I know you had a pretty similar experience like this, where It was kind of like a rapid, like almost like a death to your old self.
Yep.
And like, and this was for me because I wrote down, I was also starting an internship at this point. This is like all over the place, but
Oh,
I'm
no, it's good.
starting an internship working 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every single day. And I'm starting this on Monday and it's like Saturday. So 2 days before the internship starts. And I was like, all right, I'm going to be working 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every single day. I am quitting nicotine for the next 90 days. I'm living by myself. So my girlfriend's long distance and I'm starting the carnivore diet. Cause I was like doing a bunch of, cause like at this point, I was into my health and I was into like the animal-based diet where I was eating a lot of like meat, eggs, fruit, and honey. And I transformed my health. And even though I was still vaping, I still noticed so many health benefits and improvements in my skin and my confidence and everything from the food and the way that I was eating. But I was obviously still holding on to that. So I was doing like major changes, like going from the college life to working full-time job, quitting nicotine, and starting a carnivore diet where I ate no fruit, no honey, no vegetables, just meat.
You started waking up earlier at this time too, right?
Yeah.
What was
So I was waking up at 5 a.m. every single day, and I didn't miss a day.
He was matching my schedule.
Matching the schedule. But yeah, so that was 5 a.m. every single day. Didn't miss a day once during work. So I would wake up at 5, go to the gym, come back, eat, and then I'd work 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then and during that time I'm quitting nicotine. I was very isolated. So at this point in my life, I didn't really have much time because in the evenings I would eat dinner. I would go on a walk every single night to like watch the sunset and stuff. And walking actually was a way for me to curb my cravings too, because I would crave like nicotine and vapes and stuff like that. And so one of the best ways for me to quit that and overcome that was every time I like craved it, I would go on a walk outside in nature and I would try to appreciate everything that was around me. I would try to take in the air and like just be fully present without my phone. And it honestly worked wonders and it helped me mentally like overcome that like tremendously. And like, yeah, that was a crazy time. And then I would call Elise every single night. We talked for like an hour or something. I would shower and I'd try to be in bed by 9 p.m. because I'd wake up at 5. And so that was my life for 3 months. And I, like successfully did quit vaping and I didn't hit nicotine for that 90-day period. And like it was honestly, it was life-changing. Didn't stick with carnivore for very long. Did that for like a month or something. And then I was like, yeah, gotta change that up. But
no, but it's crazy to see this because I remember when, like, honestly, I don't know if we're gonna pop the video up on the screen or if Bryce is gonna post this eventually. Maybe I'm not trying to force that on you, but like, this video is actually crazy. Like when I hear Bryce's story, and I'm hearing new things now, like it's crazy. Like it's genuinely unreal. Like seeing even just the way he looked and the way, like you can just see he's not as healthy. You can just see like just a completely different person, and it's crazy to see how like that's so difficult to do in terms of going cold turkey like that. Like if anyone has struggled with nicotine addiction, that's not something that people can just like, people can't stop it. Like people genuinely, even if they're trying their hardest to stop, like can't stop, like withdrawals, like all these different things. And that's what we found like in both of our stories. Like we both went all in, like you were saying, we both just changed every aspect of our life. And that's the way to do it, honestly. Like you kind of have to go all in because otherwise you have that temptation. Like if you're like, oh, I'm only going to do it on this day or that day,
exactly,
it gives you that option. Like it's available where you cut it out of your brain entirely. Like that's what it was for drinking for me. Like I'm never having a sip of alcohol again in my life. Like going extreme,
setting that boundary makes all the difference.
Then there's no temptation, but it's so difficult at the same time. You have to face more pain, as I'm sure you did during that time, changing every aspect of your life in that way, which is not an easy task at all. All right, y'all. Sorry to interrupt you guys in the podcast, but we are here to tell you guys about Upspace. Because if you guys don't have Upspace by now, what are we doing? What are we doing here?
Upspace is an app that's literally designed to level up your health. I think it's an app that everyone should be on. It's just full of content that's actually good for your health and designed to help you level up. There's workouts, recipes, and educational content from hundreds of health creators, including myself and Paul. And so if you're not on Upspace, definitely check it out.
When you look at most cookbooks that creators sell, they often sell a cookbook for like $50+. And in Upspace, the whole design of the Upspace app is to make being healthy affordable to everyone. So not only can you get Bryce and I's cookbooks, workouts, and daily educational content, just educating you guys on how you can eat and live how God designed us, but you also can get hundreds more cookbooks, workout programs, and just so many activities, so much value in this app, all for $36 for the entire year. And that's literally what the design of this app is to make it affordable for everyone. And right now, this is a limited time deal that they're doing this. So if you want to tap in and fight against these corporations, which is the whole goal of this, and to level up your health in any aspect, download the Upspace app today. So moving on slightly, obviously now all you post about is health and faith and all these different things. And obviously that's something you're super passionate about, something that's impacted both of our lives, but especially your life in that way. So when did you kind of start diving into content, and what kind of did that start out looking like?
Yeah. So diving into content. So this was while I was still in a spot where I was drinking and I was still partying, but I got very fascinated. So I was 19. I was 19 when I posted my first TikTok, and I'd felt so prior to me posting my first TikTok, I had seen stuff on social media and I'd read a couple books. The first book I read about health was a book called Grain Brain, and it really dove into gluten and like wheat in today's society, and like how, because most of our diet comes from wheat, it comes from like bread and pasta and carbs and grains and stuff like that. And like this book dove into why these may not be good for us and why these cause a lot of like digestive problems and sensitivities to people. And like, so it started making me explore the foods that we were eating. And so I read the book called The Carnivore Code by Paul Saladino, and gained a lot of insight from there. And I started like questioning, and I became very curious, and I was constantly researching nutrition and what foods were optimal for us to eat. Like it started off with, how can I get the most jacked? How can I look the best? And that transitioned to, how can I live the healthiest and best life to where I feel my best each and every day? And so after doing lots of research and lots of learning, like I started changing up my diet, and I started eating a lot of red meat and a lot of eggs and fruit and foods that people told me were not good for me because of cholesterol, because of saturated fat, because these foods cause heart disease. And so I was taking a risk, but I felt like that was the right thing to do. And it changed my life physically and mentally and even spiritually. Like I genuinely felt more connected to the food that I was eating. I felt closer to God's original design in that sense, because I was eating foods from the earth, from plants and animals. And this was such a strong transformation in my health, having eaten ultra processed foods my entire life, that I felt called to share what I had learned on social media, because I was like, all right, if this had this much of a change and impact in my health, then I can have this much of a change and impact on other people's health too. And this is so simple, because all people have to do is just change the foods they're eating, and they can change their life, because it literally changed my life. And I felt so compelled to post on social media because of that. And so I started posting. I was 19. I was making TikToks, and I was just like, I was basically just like a nerd. I was like, here's why you should eat this cereal instead of this cereal. And I was like talking about ingredients, shaking the camera. Like I didn't know what I was doing, but I just felt God calling me to start posting. And so I was like, why not? And all my friends were clowning me for it. Like I would get made fun of. My posts would get sent in the group chats I was in, the fraternity group chats. People would clown
Classic.
me for it. Oh yeah, absolutely. But I didn't have the confidence, and yeah, I didn't have the confidence for it. So I started posting when I was 19, and I stopped for a while, and then I got back into it, and like,
yeah, no, and 100%. And that's still respectable, that once you realize that you create that change, it's honestly undeniable. Like in both of our stories, like when you get transformed, like you start, especially because ours were drastic.
Kind of feel that.
Yeah, like it's you go from one extreme to the next extreme, and you feel the extent and the fruits of that to an extreme. You know what I mean? It's a complete transformation, physically, spiritually, and mentally, like you said. And that is undeniable, and it makes you be like, oh, like this is a cheat code. Like,
exactly.
How do not more people know about this? Like more people need to know about this and need to start living this way, because it completely changed our lives, and we know it can change others. So that's really cool that you experienced that. But something that I was curious about, because obviously you're posting about health, right? You're changing your diet. Your diet's locked in, which is rare. You know, I mean, your diet's in a locked in space. You're starting to take care of your body in that way. But at the same time, you're still vaping. You're still in that kind of scene. So in terms of like posting on social media, preaching health, did that have any effects on you, like, and the confidence? Because I know you discussed the confidence with it. So did that have any effects in that way?
Yeah, that's a great question. And quite frankly, that was why I had stopped posting originally on social media. And so I would feel conviction, because I would be posting stuff about health. I would be answering questions about food, about diet. People would comment and ask, what's the best cereal? Like, what type of shower should I take? Like any kind of health questions, I would answer them. But deep down, I would feel guilty, because I'd be preaching health to other people online, saying, do this because this is healthier, while secretly still vaping. I didn't show my vape in any videos. I didn't say that I still do this in any videos, and I would pretend like not that I would like I just wouldn't address it. I would never bring it up. And if anyone asked me, I would never like admit that because of the fact that I didn't think that that was healthy, and I knew deep down it wasn't. So I felt a lot of conviction when I was posting on social media, and because of that conviction that I felt, and because I knew better, but I wasn't doing better, and that hurt me inside. That really discouraged me from posting, honestly, because I would post and then I'd feel that conviction and I would stop and I would fall out of it. And anytime people would make fun of my post or like write a comment that was rude or whatever, like because I didn't have that confidence instilled in myself, because I wasn't living how I knew I should be, I didn't have the confidence to push through that. And so I would let that break me down. I would let that be like deep down, I'd be like, dang, maybe they're right. And like it stopped me. And so I stopped posting for like 2 years almost, like a year and a half, 2 years straight. And like,
dang. So like at that time, was that like pretty devastating for you? Because was that in your mind, like when you were posting, like what was the end goal with that? Like you were posting, but was that something that you were just like, all right, I'm just gonna do this as a hobby? Or were you like, I want to make this a career at that point? Or kind of where was your, or you hoped that it could be, but you weren't like 100% confident? Like where was your kind of head at that point?
Yeah. I honestly, to be honest, I didn't really have any expectation with it. Like I felt God calling me to post on there because I could help other people, but I didn't look at that as like oh, I want to make this my full-time career necessarily, but I knew that I was taking it seriously, and I know that I wanted to be like serious and informative in my approach. And so I wanted to take it seriously, but everyone that I was around, like family, friends and stuff, they saw that as like whatever. Oh yeah, like it's cool. You're posting those cute little TikToks or whatever. And like kind of like taking it very lightheartedly, where like, although I didn't have a specific end goal with it, I definitely like was passionate about it, and I wanted to keep doing it. Just honestly to help other people and just spread what I had learned. So yeah, so I didn't really have an end goal with it, but it was
true love for the game.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, I mean it's real. Like, and that's probably why you're successful now, because you genuinely just loved it. Like you would do it.
Absolutely.
And that's, we both can
making
experience
zero.
that.
Yeah.
Like we both do it, and we did. You know what I mean? Which we'll get to. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, and you did, especially in that way. So it's something that is super cool, but obviously sad because obviously when you're making promises to yourself, like you're saying, and you're not keeping them, like that kills you inside. That kills you. And when you're doing things that are wrong, but you keep doing it, and you're making promises to yourself, like I'm going to stop doing this, or I'm going to start doing this, and you're constantly breaking that promise, it just kills your confidence.
Absolutely.
And especially when you're trying to chase a goal or a dream, if you're breaking promises to yourself, like you're not going to believe that you can achieve it. The only way you build that confidence, which we've discussed, is by doing the things you're telling yourself you're going to do, and continually, repeatedly proving to yourself that you are who you say you are, and that you are going to be, and taking steps to become that person that you have visioned in your mind now. So
Absolutely.
It's something that takes time to build that. And obviously now you have it. So what I would say is like, where during that phase, like where were you at life when you stopped posting, and when did, obviously I know you started slowing down with the vape and weed, and you kind of started to cut all that out of your life, and your relationship is thriving in that way, and you guys are doing great. And so kind of where did content kind of come back into that, and how did that spark that? And also just, were you still like spiritually, like where are you kind of at that point in your life where you've just started to slowly cut out these things, or did it come back? Like
so so during that phase that I talked about earlier, where I was working the 8 to 5 job, and I quit nicotine, went carnivore, and I quit nicotine for 9 days or whatever, I did that successfully. And then my senior year of college started back up, and I was the recruitment chair for the fraternity that I was in. And so I was tasked with coming up with parties and events. And so naturally I had to attend these, and my goal was to recruit as many people as possible.
And this is after you just had that locked in.
Yes.
You quit
after
nicotine,
locked in summer, I didn't go out once. I wasn't hanging out. Did not go to the bars, like girlfriends long distance. Like it was literally like so much solitude, and I learned and like gained so much confidence in myself, and I was feeling amazing. I was posting TikToks every single day at this point too, and I didn't feel conviction because I knew that I was living better. But then college started back up again in the fall, and I was working, like I was an officer for my fraternity, and so I would just go into these parties because that's what I was elected to do, and naturally I fell back into it, and I I wasn't drinking very much. Like I wouldn't get drunk, but I would have a drink or two every time, and I would hit my friends' vapes there. And I didn't have my own at this point, but like I fell back into it after being locked in for 3 months. Like I was in the environment again, and that just like it really revealed to me how crucial environment is for our life, for our health, for everything. If you were surrounded by people like the saying like you become the 5 people you spend the most time with, like that's like cliche, everyone hears that everywhere, but it's genuinely true.
So real.
Because when I was hanging around, like literally I was so good because I was with myself, I was with God, and I grew my relationship with God. I got so much closer to him during that time of solitude. But as soon as I went back to the environment that I was in that made me sick in the first place, I fell again. Despite being strong and having that confidence, I fell again because of my environment. And so like it just goes to show how important environment is. But yeah, so I fell again during that time, and then eventually I just hit a point where I was like, all right, you know what, like this is it. Like I'm once my role ended, rush was over, which was like the first week or two of college, and I was like, all right, I'm done with this. And so I stopped going out to fraternity parties. I stopped like going to the events. I stopped paying dues, so I didn't go to the trips that we would take to the beach house, to the mountain house, stuff like that. And I was like, I was basically done with it. I was fed up with it, and at that point, like I was like, all right, like I need to really lock in and like start taking myself seriously again, and like set that boundary to where, because I was half in, half out. I was being that lukewarm to where I wasn't doing it often, but I was still engaging. I was still leaving that room for temptation, and like that was getting the best of me a lot of times. And so cutting that out completely was so great for my life. Like nicotine, alcohol, everything. That was a huge changer in my life. And yeah.
No, I mean, and trust me, like we get it, and that's it's not easy. Like it is not easy to change your life, and especially in that extreme of a way, and just cut everything out. And also, like you said, goes to show the power of your environment.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure like that was so tough going from getting a taste of what that life is, because we know what that life is like. When you're grinding, you're focused on your health, you're doing all the right things, like, or at least you're in that pursuit of it. You're not perfect, but you're waking up at the same time. You're just grinding, and you're doing the things that you know God's calling you to do. Like that feeling is amazing. So then going from that feeling, getting a taste of that for the first time in your life, and then falling back into that had to have been brutal, like mentally during that time. Like probably gaining way more conviction. I mean, I can't speak for you, but
definitely gaining more conviction again. It felt like I had regressed, and that it hurt me spiritually immensely. Like, cause I felt like I was moving up, progressing, like as in my own self-development and character. And then I felt like once college started again, I just like went back down, lost the progress that I made, which was hard. Like just like ego, like it's just like, dang, like I did so great for this long, and then like I fell back into it, and that was tough. And during that time when I started college back up, I had slowed down with the posting. I wasn't posting it as much. And then I graduated, and at this point I was pretty much out of it. And then I worked a pest control door-to-door sales job. So not many people know this, but yeah, I worked door-to-door sales for a few months, and did well with it. Did pretty well with it. And the reason I did that was because I knew I wanted to be outside after working the 8 to 5 job. It was an office job inside, and I knew I did not want to sit inside. It was brutal. Like I wearing dress clothes every day, doing work that I didn't enjoy or care about, sitting down inside all day. I'd look out the window and just crave the sunlight. It would be in North Carolina, sunny, 85 degrees in July, and I'm just sitting there inside, trapped the entire day. And I'm like, I need to get outside. Like this is so pest control allowed me to be moving. I was on my feet a lot. I was outdoors most of the time, and like it was sales, and so it was like I learned a lot from the job, and I'm thankful for it. But it wasn't where my heart was, and it wasn't what I was passionate about. Like I was in it for the wrong reasons. I was in it for the money, not because I actually cared about pest control or anything like that. And then so as soon as that finished, you sell pest control during the summer, and that ended. I was back in North Carolina, and I was working out with my friend, and that's where I saw you at some random gym after we had not seen each other for over a year, which is just crazy to see. And yeah, that was quite the experience. And we
100%. It was, and like at this point we like we met each other. Obviously, if you guys watched like my testimony video, like we touched on it a little bit, but
Yeah.
like we barely knew each other. Like we saw each other at the gym sometimes and at UNCW, and then knew we were locked in, like whatever, but just like didn't see each other for a whole year. Like we didn't really talk at all. And then yeah, just ran into each other at the gym. And we were just working out together, having deep conversations. Like obviously with anyone, like Bryce and I are both the same in this way. Where we just go deep right away. Like, and this is why we want to start this podcast, because we could talk for hours. You know, we could talk about anything for hours. So we're like, bro, we gotta start a podcast. We gotta say this out to everyone else as well. But yeah, like it's just something that we just dove straight in, and we got really close right away. And obviously, like at this point, I'd been posting on social media and everything else, and you were in that phase that you just described. You just got out of that job and everything else that's going on. And like, so where was your head at kind of like during this time?
Right. Yeah. So after studying pest control, like what I really was, I had been praying for, and I had grown in my faith so much. Like I wasn't, after I graduated, I wasn't drinking or anything, like everything of that nature. I wasn't going out, wasn't partying, and I knew it was wrong, and I was done with that, and I had like given up that life almost entirely. I actually felt like I slipped and fell a couple times, but like in the span of a few months. So I guess I was like 95.5 in that way, where every few months I would go out or something like that. But then after I finished selling pest control and you and I met at the gym, one thing that you helped me with was purpose, because I knew, and I still had this calling. And at this point, I hadn't really been posting on social media because I was doing pest control sales. I also got my real estate license as well. So I literally took a real estate course. Like I'm jumping around in all these different areas. Like, and I was in it for like, I just didn't know what I wanted to do. Like I knew deep down what I wanted to do, but I didn't think that it was possible. I didn't have the belief in myself that I could do what I actually wanted to do. And so I would try to say, oh, like I would try to justify or pretend, oh, let me get my real estate license. Like that's what I feel called. Like that's what I want to do. But in reality, it was just for the wrong reasons. It was for the money, and it was for something that would give me whatever, a stable like career, job, or in the eyes of other people. And it was really honestly because of that, because I felt I was too scared to go all in on my dreams. And so seeing you at the gym and seeing the success that you had, and you just helping me a lot with what I was facing, and the inner like fear and doubt that I had within myself, like you definitely helped me to grow closer to God in that way, and to really like convict myself, because of what I was lacking was the self-belief. Like I didn't think it was truly possible, and you kind of gave me that hope, like, hey, if I did this, why can't you? Like you literally, you did it, and like sharing your story and your testimony like helped me find that within myself, and know that if I devoted my life to it, and I actually had the right intentions centered on God, and I knew in my heart that I wanted to do that to help other people, but my family members, friends, just everyone, and no hate or anything like that, because they all have what they think to be my best interest in mind. So it's genuinely all love. But a lot of times, like they think that what's best is like the security and the stability, and like having the classic,
the
like,
easy route,
hourly pay. Yeah, the route that like pays the bills and stuff like that, which of course is because they just want to like protect, like, and they want to make sure that like I'm taken care of in that sense. But like, yeah, I don't know. I didn't have the self-belief, and I just didn't know. I didn't see how I could be making money doing social media, doing what I love. And so I was just like, I almost was like giving up on the dream, but you helped me to find that, and like, and gave me the courage almost to start posting again on social media and actually go all in. Eventually, after weeks of going back and forth, lifting every day together, and like having deep conversations and stuff, like I ultimately decided to quit and drop everything, drop pest control, drop real estate. And through Paul's convincing of me, I posted a video on Instagram saying that I'm going to post every day until I get 100K followers, and that, and yeah, just basically saying that I quit my job and I had no money coming in at all. Like I went numerous months making $0 while paying for my own rent, while paying for expensive groceries and healthy food, and like prioritizing my health and being abundant in that regard. And like, yeah, I was making $0, and I genuinely like did not know what the future, like generational revival wasn't even a thing at this point. This was a year ago today, almost as of the date that we're recording this right now. Like And so
Yeah, literally. Like,
Yeah.
we literally saw a year ago today. He was just
Yesterday,
looking and showing
yeah.
us, like, it's crazy. And yeah, like, Generation Revival was just like in the works, but we weren't
No.
joined on it yet.
Right.
And this is the time where we're living together. Like,
Yep.
we're doing all that, and it's crazy. Like, honestly, every single time I think back on this, it's actually crazy because it's been a year. Like, it's been a year, and God has done and provided so much in that time. You know what I mean? Like, completely transformed both of us as people, but especially you during this time. Like, it's so cool even looking back because I was able to witness like the start of your journey in that way, especially with social media. And I remember like having these conversations with you, and you'd bring up, like, I remember it just came up, like, yeah, I used to post videos or whatever. And I was just like, bro, like, why'd you stop? And you're like, oh, like, I don't know. Like, I just I'm in real estate and doing this stuff. And then I was like, dude, like, because I saw myself in you during that time. You know what I mean? Like, the phase of my life that I was in before I started.
And we knew we were eating the same way and stuff, so you knew that too. Like,
yeah. And it was crazy because we were just bold from the jump. Like, I knew I could trust you right away, and we were being very bold. Like, I literally would just be like, dude,
you
like,
question me on it.
Yeah, I was like, but what was great is that you were willing to be questioned. You were willing to like hear it out. And I remember telling you, like, just being like, Bryce, if like you knew that like a year from now you could have 100,000 followers or 200,000 followers, like, would you do it? Like, would you pursue this dream?
Like, yes.
And you're like, yeah, I would. And I was like, okay, well, that means that fear of failure is the only thing stopping you from doing it. You know what I mean? So when we're letting fear stop us from doing something, that's not God, that's the devil. Like, the devil will instill fear, God will instill hope and joy. And like, so that was super cool. Like, it's been so cool witnessing your journey. And you literally, because I've told that to a million people, like, chase your dreams. Like, why can't you do it? You can do it. And no one listens, right? Like, they'll hear it, but then they don't actually do it. Where you heard it and you took action and you did it. It was crazy. Like, I saw that you were listening and I kept pushing, and you just went for it, and you literally quit your job and went all in. And then now you're at 100,000, you're 144,000 followers. Like, God's providing so many ways. We're filming a podcast right now. Like, there's so much that God has done, and it's so cool to witness your growth, not only in social media and in work, but also like your spiritual life.
Even more than that, spiritually. Like, that's been the biggest transformation that I've had over the last year. And like, truly seeing the way that God has been able to work in my life, and how when I fully commit and truly sought after God, and like, and really sacrificed everything, sacrificed my own desires and what I wanted. I wanted to make a lot of money out of college. I wanted to do this. Like, I wanted to make a lot of money, and that was like my main focus. And like, me surrendering my greatest desire in that sense and truly giving it to him, and having my intentions set on him and saying, hey, God, I'm actually going to do this because I know that I can help my fellow brothers and sisters and the other people of this earth. And like, and I'm just going to give this to you, and I'm just going to trust that you will provide if my intentions are pure and set on you. And literally seeing that in action month by month work, and me putting in the work each and every day. I posted every single day. I didn't miss a single day, not once. Waking up at 5:30 every single day, starting the day with the word of God every single morning, prayer and scripture. That's, if you guys watch my day in the life videos, every single morning, day after day, like, you will see that. And like, that's been the most important. That's where I've seen the most growth, is spiritually by far, because I've literally seen how God can provide. And like, a lot of times, like, as humans, when it comes to God, like, we should believe it in order to see it. Like, we should believe it first and then see it. But like, I was able to believe it and then see it, and that just reaffirms your belief, and it just like helps you grow even more in your belief. And so like, above all, like, everything that I've accomplished or done has like all been from God, and it couldn't be done without God. Like, and so he's been leading me every single step of the way, and God has provided for me and for my life. And that, like, I literally witnessed that by finally chasing him and letting go of my own desires, and just saying, God, like, take me down the path that you want me to go, and let whatever your will, like, be done. Like, that's
and yeah, like, and it's not easy. That doesn't mean it's easy. And it was not easy for you. It was not easy. It was not, it's still not easy at all. And like, taking that level of surrender, like, I was able to witness you, like, it's not easy to have that trust. Like, especially like, you have a lease to think about. You have like your relationship, your family, like, all these different things, all those pressures. And that's something I always respected, was like, yeah, like, when I did it, I was 18, like I didn't have much risk in that way. You know, you're out of college. Like the expectation is, okay, get a job and you're getting married and you're gonna provide. Like
Yeah.
that's what it's about. You know what I mean? You got to do whatever. But you just went for it, bro, and you didn't allow the societal pressure to get to you, and you just went all in. And bro, like you did it. And it's so funny because we talk all the time. We look back and we're like Jenny, we look back all the time. We're like, remember those conversations? Like we'd have conversations when we first started. I remember when you quit your job and you went all in, and we were like, bro, you already won. Like you making this decision to go all in and fully surrender it to God, that was you winning. That was you. You already did it. Time just hasn't caught up yet.
Yeah.
And I remember us literally having that conversation. And now we have conversations being like, yo, remember that conversation we had saying you already won, and now you have done what God planned out for you and God has provided? Like, all you have to do is trust God. And like you're a prime example of that. You know what I mean? And being able to witness that was beautiful. You know what I mean? It increased my faith. You were an answer prayer for me. We were both answer prayers for each other in that way. And it's crazy how God perfectly orchestrated that in that way.
100%. It truly is a blessing, and it's just beautiful to see. And having, like, sometimes all it takes, and this is like what I want to be for other people now as well, as like, but sometimes all it takes is just having one person to believe in you and to have that belief and just give you that, like, say, hey, you can do this. You can actually do this. Because I know for me, that's what I needed. I didn't have anyone that was actually saying, hey, Bryce, like, genuinely, whatever your dream is, no matter how, like, what it seems like go chase that. So, but just having any kind of like love or having someone who can like instill that belief in you is like so powerful, and you can literally change someone's life. So it's just the value in that. And like, and yeah, like Elise, it's just crazy, like for her, because like you said, like I was out of college and stuff, so it's like it's not easy on her. And like she's like, oh my gosh, like this is like it's crazy. And my family's doing the same thing. Like my family, some of them still don't really understand it just because of social media, and it's like it's confusing. But yeah, like it's just having support from her and from other people in my life, including you. Like it's just been truly a blessing, and it's been all the reason to keep going and just overcome any and all obstacles that I face. And just like, yeah, having that belief and having love from others is just like, yeah, it's such a blessing and such a gift. So
no, it's so important. And what I would ask you, like, as you said, like having those people in your life that did believe in you and supported you. And obviously, like we said, like Elise was in that position where that's tough because like what you do affects her.
absolutely,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So something that was super cool to see, and something like you can touch on, is like seeing her support you through that and still love you through that and be there for you. Like how important was that for you, and how much did that
No, it was literally everything. It made all the difference in the world, because when you have someone in your life, especially a romantic like partner, like who you can trust and who loves you, and like seeing that, like seeing the belief that she had in me and the love that she had for me, even when I first started posting for months and months, when I'm making $0 and I'm getting 2 likes on each post, and she's one of them. Every like almost every single post you can look, like she, and like still to this day, like that's how it is. But it's just like it's just crazy, because during those times, like still the love and support that she had and the belief that she had in me, like it's just like, because it doesn't make sense in a way. Like it's like, why, like, oh, like you're starting at 0, and like in most people's eyes you'd be a failure in that sense, but like she had that love and she had that belief, and that was just all the more reason to keep going. And now it's just like, yeah, but I say that to say, like, it's been everything, and without it, I don't know if I could do it. And so, yeah, shout out Elise. Like you've been amazing for my life, and just like for my growth in every single way, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And so thank you, and thank my family. Thank you, Paul. Like thank all of y'all, because it's been, and thank God above all. Like that's what it's all for. And it's beautiful to see.
No, it's amazing. It's incredible. And bro, like I always say, bro's winning in life. Bro's got it all. So yeah, you're crushing, and like I said, it's been beautiful to witness your journey, and the journey's far from over. You know what I mean?
It's just getting started. The journey that God has put me on, and the path that he has revealed to me for the future, and everything that I've been through in the past, like it's beautiful to be able to look back and see how God has worked in my life in so many different ways. And just like, I just want to let everyone know who is watching this or listening to this right now, that everything that you were going through is for a reason, and God has a plan for you. And it's all about just trusting in God, even when it makes no sense, even when things feel impossible. and are difficult and challenging. Like, we all face these, and like, God is with you. Lean on him and trust him for support and cry out and pray out. And like, that has been a game changer. And so above all, my life has changed drastically. I literally had no confidence, no real faith, no real relationship with God. Like, I was addicted to nicotine. I was going out seeking validation and like partying, and I still face many struggles, and I still have so much room for improvement, but my life has changed and improved in so many ways, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And so I just hope that I'm a light and can let other people know that it is possible to change no matter where you are. And God wants us to meet him exactly where we are, nowhere else. So it's not about being perfect, but in the pursuit of betterment is always a good spot to be. And so I thank you guys for listening, and I hope this testimony can help at least one person. And
and
thank you.
yeah, dude, like, I think last thing to touch on, honestly, is like, it's so cool to see both of our stories in that way and how it aligns so beautifully in the sense of how health and faith were two of the cornerstones and actually combined that led us to where we are today and led us to this movement, which is to bring God, health, and wellness back to our world, and really putting the emphasis on how transforming your health and eating the foods that God gave us and taking care of your physical health and going back to how God intended it in terms of nature and food and all this stuff is a huge way that you can grow closer to God. And as a society, we can grow closer to God through pursuing that. So you're a great example of that as well.
No, and you are too, bro. And like it's so true. Like, faith and health are one. They're interconnected. Like, by taking care of our physical health, like, we can grow spiritually. And I know I had that experience, you had that experience, and so many others have as well. And so they are one. They are not two separate entities, and we should be striving to honor God in all things that we do, and that includes taking care of our physical health through the foods that we eat, through how we take care of ourselves each and every day. And so, yeah, that's what Generation Revival is all about, and that is what we are doing each and every day. That is what Paul and I are dedicating every second of every day toward, is bringing God and health back into our world. We're doing that through clothing, through products, through podcasts, through so many different entities. And so, yeah.
And that's what it's about. That's the whole mission. And we'll forever be dedicating our lives to that. And we can't do it alone. Like, you guys, it's not us. This is us, like all of us. And that's the only way we can do it, is together. And yeah, this is a amazing episode. It was amazing hearing more of your story, because I haven't heard all of those things. So super powerful.
Yeah. And thank you guys for listening. And yeah, we'll be posting weekly podcasts, so stay tuned. But yeah, have a good one.
And together, let's save our generation, and always remember, Jesus got you. Let's go.